Well, good afternoon, you guys. Oh, they came on at the same time. Look at that. All right, Instagram, you're over here. Facebook, you're over here.
Try to get you both.
Yeah, it's kind of. You don't worry about it because they'll be fine with us. You guys, we are live, coming to you from downtown Eugene, and this is Brandon Donovan, and yeah.
I can't see this now.
So when was that?
3 months. Well, I got the surgery 3 months ago, and then this whole snafu was. I mean, that was about 5 months, 4 months.
So 4 or 5 months ago, people were contacting me and saying this guy named Brandon Donovan's a veteran, and he's being screwed by the VA, and they're not taking care of his surgery or this medical problem for him. And so nobody was talking to him. The news wasn't talking to him. And I said, I contacted him and I said, come on, we're just going to do it. And we just did a free show, and it was awesome. Yeah. Because I love this guy. And
great.
Plus, I think it's just horrible how we treated a veteran in our country who went to Iraq to fight for us and protect our freedom. And then when he gets sick and he gets an illness and he almost starves to death. I mean, you really did. For 10 years, he's starving. And the VA doesn't take care of him. So the good news is they have mostly taken care of some stuff. He's going to explain. But he's back. He's got an awesome scar.
Yeah, I can show it off.
You should show it. Yeah, give him a scar first.
That's right there.
See that right there. That's his scar from when he had done a surgery. So tell him what was going on with you, okay?
All right, so I had. I'll get my leg around.
You get right up there because they.
So I had median arcuate ligament syndrome. So MALS is the short name. It's got a couple other names: Dunbar syndrome and celiac access. So essentially, it's around your celiac artery, which supplies blood to your upper GI system, and there's nerves sprinkled along those called ganglions. So they're like little plexuses. They're like mini brains. They kind of control your hunger and your like organ pain and temperature regulation and stuff like that. Well, my diaphragm, the median arcuate ligament, was too low, and it started to pinch on that celiac artery, and on that artery has the solar plexus or celiac plexus, which is a like mini brain, and that agitated it. So every time I ate, it would cause excruciating pain for about 45 minutes, and every single time. Didn't matter what I ate. I tried all sorts of stuff.
So you were starving.
Over time, yeah, I couldn't.
So how much should you weigh? You're how tall?
I'm 5'10", and I used to weigh 150. My highest is 163 when I was working out twice a day in Iraq. So those numbers are hopefully soon.
And what did you weigh when you came in to talk to me? Yeah, when you came in.
My lowest was like 109, 108.
Like 100 pounds.
Yeah, with no 2-3% body fat. There was nothing on me. The energy was nothing. Everything was just low.
So now you're up 10 pounds.
Yep, 119.
So what happened? They go in, and what did they actually do to you? Because you guys, and the thing is, they've had a horrible time. The recovery's been really excruciatingly painful.
Yeah, so I was all focused on just getting the surgery, getting the pain away to be able to eat again. And I was like, oh, I'll deal with the recovery later. Like, that's just another bridge I'll cross when I get to it. Not really realizing or prepping at all for how slow the recovery is going to be and how much goes on between those nerves in your brain and how many muscles they had to cut through to get to that. I mean, you got your six-pack, and you've got your abdominal wall, which it wraps around to your spine, and it's got 2 different layers of muscles. And I could feel every single one of those, and trying to strengthen that so the incision is less painful. And then while also my entire GI system was on the fritz. I mean, it was freaking out because there was a bunch of like trauma in that area from the surgery, and now a nerve is missing, and they all kind of rely on each other for like when you're hungry, so and when you're full, and temperature regulation, and even like how fast your GI system works. So a lot of people after the surgery have just diarrhea, or they don't. They are constipated because it's trying to figure out how to work again.
Did you have to deal with any of that?
Oh yeah, still dealing with it.
Here's the thing he never thought about. We were talking about this before we came on here, and which I think is it's the mind and how powerful it is. So for 10 years, you'd get hungry. You would then your mind would tell yourself you're not hungry because if you eat, you're going to get really sick. So now he's still experienced that after he comes out of it. Then all of a sudden his mind is still going, no, you don't want to do this, and so you have to psychologically heal. 10 years of dysfunction. And
that's one thing I didn't really think I was going to have an issue with was like, oh, if I'm going to eat, I'm going to eat everything. Like, it's not going to be a deal. But two things have kind of slowed that down. I can eat, and it doesn't hurt anymore. However, remembering to eat, I had, those cues, that mental, hungriness and those cues have been suppressed for years before that because of that negative reinforcement. And then on top of that, my stomach and lower GI, all those nerves are learning how to handle it, so it's hard to know when I'm full, and it's easy to overeat. My stomach is still really small. I always say it's the size of a peanut, but it's probably not. It's a little bigger than that. But when I overeat, it sends basically panic signals throughout all those nerves into my brain that either, it's just like motion sickness is the best way to explain it. Is your brain thinks you're being poisoned. Your eyes aren't matching what your ears and your equilibrium is telling it. The same thing, my nerves down low aren't telling my brain, and it's not making sense between the two. So it basically thinks I'm being poisoned if I overeat, or if something sets it off, like a bad smell for some reason sets off its mesenteric.
So the first time you smelled butter cooking.
Butter warming up.
That sent him. It made him.
Yeah. So the couple days after the surgery, I smelled butter being warmed up, and I have no beef with butter. I like butter, and never had a problem.
He's not anti-cow.
Yeah, butter's great. And what happened was the brain took that smell, sent signals down. All of a sudden, the nerve that usually deals with if I'm nauseous or the signals between the stomach saying, "Hey, no, everything's good. You don't need to freak out." It wasn't there, and that's just the shortened version of what goes down. But then the whole body freaks out. So I start to sweat profusely. I get super nauseous, headaches, muscles start tensing up. Your gut feels like it's just turning and wrenching, and it lasts for about 15 minutes and then goes away when your brain finally figures out, oh, well, maybe you're not.
You guys, the reason we're able to do this, I just want to make sure our sponsor gets recognized here, is Scott Weld over at Buck's Porta Potties and Sanitary Service. They're sponsoring the show.
Thanks to Bucks.
He loves what veterans do. He respects veterans, and he says, we want Brandon's story to get out because we told you when it was bad, and we brought this to you. And you know what? You guys did this because you helped him raise in a GoFundMe campaign. How much money?
It was $25,000, and there was a lot of private donations too that didn't even go through the GoFundMe that literally paid for us to go there because the VA did not. They said they were going to pay for the flights and a small percentage of the government rate of hotel and food and per diem and stuff like that, and we never got that, and we're still trying to figure out or communicate with the VA about that. But
originally they weren't even going to pay for the surgery.
Originally it wasn't going to be anything.
And that's why we were doing this, is to get some pressure out there, to put some pressure on him and say, and then Brandon, he's starving himself, and I'm on here going, no, you just go get your damn surgery and get that done. And
without it, we wouldn't have been able to go there. I'm not sure what, how the logistics would have worked, because the VA would have been like, okay, you can go get the surgery, but we couldn't afford those flights. We couldn't afford to have a hotel in the East Coast, which is super expensive, and let alone feed ourselves.
So because of the money you guys raised, could some of all of this been avoided if you'd been diagnosed earlier?
Yes. Yeah. It took 10 years. The average, so it is a rare condition, and it is difficult to diagnose, but the steps taken weren't taken close together, and they weren't pursued to every end. We weren't crossing things off, so it took 10 years when the average time for a diagnosis is between 2 and 3 on the high end.
And didn't at one point they wanted their surgeons to do the work, then they don't even know how to do it, and there's a specialist that ended up doing this? Wasn't there some kind of mess with that, or can we talk about that? Or?
Yeah, so the VA has surgeons that they could do it. They haven't done it.
Which is a pretty big deal when it's a rare kind of condition, right?
Yeah, and there's also, the last time we talked about, there's two different philosophies on how to actually treat the condition. If it's a neurogenic, so nerves, or if it's ischemic, blood, and like the lack of blood. And it's kind of both, because there's a compression, so a lack of blood, and then that irritation of those nerves. So it's both. And the VA and the surgeons up there think more of that it's an ischemic. So they could have cut back that ligament and it could have relieved the blood flow, but those nerves could still be chronically inflamed. And that's the basically the headbutts between the medical community is, okay, this is the old way of thinking and this is the new way of thinking, and we have results, but we have like history and equity. We've got, it's been this way forever.
You got stuck in a process.
Yeah.
And so what did you first of all, I want to say I'm sorry
for what
for that we as a system treated a veteran like that. I mean, that's a big thing, and we should, you guys should be on a pedestal, and we should be taking care of you faster. And I've heard, since your story, I've heard so many horror stories about this medical treatment for veterans.
I wouldn't say a pedestal, just the care that we were promised. However, through all of this social output and just this whole thing, there's been a number of veterans and other people that have contacted me and have gotten at least on the right path to get treated, or actually be like, I've had this thing for the last couple of years and had absolutely no idea what to do. None of my doctors did, and now I'm getting tested, and I actually was positively tested for MALS.
So you're helping other veterans.
Everyone is, because without you, without the media, without the people that made the ruckus, none of these people would have ever heard my name. I mean, there was people in Arkansas, Georgia, Minnesota, there's like all over, contact me out of the blue, like finding me either through Facebook or through my website or through email or other people, and like finding me and be like, okay, this actually happened because of you, because of this story, because the New York Post picked it up as well, and that reached a lot of people that our little community over here, there's no way we could be loud enough. It made enough noise here that other people started to listen. So it helped a lot more than just me.
So what did you learn? Like, what kind of thing did you learn?
What did I learn? Oh, now I'm relearning how to eat.
They're watching you from Monterey, California. And Terry disagrees. Yes, you should be put on a pedestal. So we'll put him on a pedestal. He can sit where he wants. Yeah. So what have you learned about, like, I'm more concerned. What did you learn about you?
Every day during the suffering, I mean, it's not. I learned that I could keep going, and that I can help more people, even though I'm hurting, I'm suffering. Like, there's other people that can use what I've gone through to help them continue to go through, because it's hard to keep going forward. And being able to turn that experience around, now that I'm on the mend, I'm doing better. Those dark times, those painful times, I can put those into words, into a message that will help someone else continue to keep going.
Because I've been in contact with Brandon and his family and stuff, and I kept asking, and they go, no, he doesn't feel great. It was like, I know we don't want to put him on here when he's feeling like garbage, and do that kind of thing.
So I'm at more good days than bad days, and just crossed that threshold in the last couple of weeks. And when a bad day hits, it's either the diarrhea, the constipation, or just overall nausea, or absolutely zero energy. Like, it felt like I had done 1,000,000 sit-ups the night before, and I just woke up and, like, my abdominal muscles just don't want to do anything. I'm just exhausted.
So, and then you're having a problem right now. He's going to a physical therapy, starts on Monday.
Yeah.
Because it's so he's trying to strengthen his muscles on his stomach.
Yep. But
his back is also, God, you are skinny.
Yeah.
But his back is like, so now they're fighting each other. So what do you do? So he's going to go get some professional therapy.
It feels like I'm tug of war with myself. My back was an issue before I lost all this weight, but it got just exacerbated. It got worse significantly as I lost more weight, and once I got down to my lowest, it was the primary pain that I was getting. Every time I'd eat, there was that pain, and then there was the back pain. So I had to go between the two. Like, am I going to eat today, or am I going to, like, it's like you get full of a certain type of level of pain. And so when you're full, you don't want to eat because it'll cause more.
Your story will inspire many. It's amazing you're doing good when you need the help yourself. You deserve more. Your strength is inspirational.
Well, thank you.
What is that? Yeah, what's that like when you hear people say stuff like that?
It just gives you a little pep in your step. It helps you move forward. I mean, this whole recovery is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. But with the support that's out there, I know that, I mean, for one, I can't fail because everyone's watching. I mean, that wasn't an option to fail. But it's just another, like, there are people out there rooting for you, so it helps you push forward. I mean,
because we did some things with him where local veterans, motorcycle veterans and stuff, were giving him checks and meeting him at the car wash, over at the car wash show. And I mean, you really saw a better side of humanity, didn't you?
Yeah, they all, I mean, when this all went out, there was way more good than I was expecting. There were some weirdos that came out of the woodwork as well that were just
He's not talking about me.
they didn't have as good hair. They came out and they're hitting up the email or the website, or even on the Facebook thing, they were making some, like, you know, accusations that this is all a scam and all that stuff. You get some weird people, but the majority was all good and meaningful. And I mean, there were so many people that wanted to help that we couldn't accept all the help from everybody because there were so many people already, like, in the process of helping us. So
somebody wants to know, are you getting any kind of counseling or anything?
So the psychiatric care, so for the mental side of this, we are discussing how to do that. I'm going to see a dietitian, and also I forgot the name, it's like a psychiatrist dietitian to help with the whole getting over that negative reinforcement for 10 years.
You basically have an eating disorder.
Yeah, I did, yeah, and now it's like I don't have that pain anymore, but the brain still,
you still have that disorder because it's still that's
in a way, yeah.
If you put that off for 10 years, that's survival.
It's conditioning. I've been conditioned not to, like, eat.
So you have a daughter.
Yep.
How old is she?
She is 2.
And what's her name?
She's Abigail Rose.
So in 10 years, you're sitting down with Abigail Rose. Mm-hmm. What do you tell her?
About all this?
About okay, I'll give you some ideas, okay? I mean, I'm not going to give you ideas. I'm saying, what do you tell her about humanity, about people?
Well, that's a big loaded question, but the majority are good if you can find them. I mean, that's the thing. Like, forever, it was just me going at it by myself and then actually reaching out for help and trusting that there's good people out there. I mean, with kind hearts.
And what do you say to your wife? What do you tell her?
Oh, she's been right next to me this whole time. She's been just a Wonder Woman. She doesn't need to be told anything. She knows it. She's telling me stuff to, you know, stop being grumpy.
She's a rock, huh?
Yeah, she's keeping this whole family afloat.
That's what happens a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I mean, is it fair to say, was this a lonely thing?
In a way, the pain is very late at night when, like, it feels hopeless, like that, right. Like before the diagnosis, before we even had a target that it could be. It's like, is this going to be my suffering forever? Like, is this my life forever? And how am I going to cope with that? Because I'm not going to give up, but how am I going to do it? I couldn't come up with an answer. So those lonely thoughts at night, suffering from either the back pain because of the loss of weight, or just being hungry and all the small things that come with that, like the loss of hair, the conjunctivitis in your eyes because you're just dehydrated and there's no protein, cracks in your mouth. I mean, you're sick all the time. I mean, when you get malnourished, your whole system starts to just fall apart.
So I'm going to ask you something, and if it's too sensitive and you don't want to do this, and you don't just say we don't have to talk about that, okay? But I want to, because I just did something with veterans the other day, and like 22 veterans a day take their lives. Did you ever feel like you wanted to stop
so for that, And long ago, when I was right when I came back from Iraq, I was a very angry person.
What were you angry at?
Just the world, to be honest, and that anger kept our entire company alive. And everybody was angry, and then it's just how you channel that anger, and it just kept you out of complacency. So you were constantly on top of yourself, but when people started, like, we came home with everybody, with all our fingers and toes, and I wrote a small blog post about it, but since then, in our company, we've lost a few of them.
To suicide.
And it's still, I will continue to always fight on in their stead. Like, I don't want any more of them to give up. I want to at least be a beacon, or at least a hand to help. But never once would I will never give up because of them. I want to.
Exactly. So that's what kept you from doing that.
Exactly.
And now, because of your situation, and this isn't to put pressure on you at all, but you're a success story. You are succeeding. You're not a success story. You are in a succeeding mode. That could give hope to people.
Yeah.
It's not on you. It's not your job to make them and be hopeful, but it's your gift that you can do if you can.
Right. If I can keep going, which I'm on a good path right now. I've gained 10 pounds, so 10 pounds in the
fat. What you weigh? 116?
119. So
119.
Yeah. Well, that was last week. Who knows? I could have gained water weight.
Look at that. Yeah, look at that. That's a good show going on there.
So my goal is to get back up to the 150, 160, and after that, I will consider myself completely 100% successful and healthy.
But do you think this is going to take a lot longer to get?
It's.
Did you just say hell yeah?
Did
you just say hell yeah?
I don't think I did, but I could have. Yeah. So the whole the pain, the diarrhea, the nausea, the mesenteric inflammation, the mental side, all that stuff I didn't see coming. But I am gaining weight through that. But it is taking a lot longer, and especially with the tug of war between back pain and abdominal pain, and how do I strengthen that without pissing off one or the other? Like, how do I do that? So that's what the physical therapy I'm hoping is going to help a lot.
So what do you, I love talking to people like you because you have a depth that I don't have because of what you've seen and what you've been through, and you're just a different person. You know what I mean?
Well, everybody has those.
Right, but I got an opportunity to sit here and talk to you, and it makes me want to ask you. So, when what do you think of your country when you go through something like this?
Oh, my country, when something like this is happening to me, the country is just the background, because every day, I mean, at the end of the day, when you're going to sleep, it's just you and your head and you're thinking, and then you go to sleep. And in those moments, I'm not really thinking about the country, the community, the neighborhood. I'm just trying to go peacefully into sleep and not worry about tomorrow. And it's not necessarily a country. I think it's just the population of the world in general and the technology that's changing. And I mean, in the last 100 years, we've advanced like significantly further than any other last centuries ever. So we're just adjusting to it, and the whole climate of the internet climate and the fake news climate, all that is a new playing field, and people just need to adjust to it. And
kind of like what you're doing in your life, having to readjust to being a regular person again. So what do you say to your brothers and sisters in the service?
Oh, keep fighting. I mean, if you're struggling, reach out. I mean, don't try to take it by yourself. I mean, you can do it for so long, but if you're not winning, you need to reach for that battle buddy. You need to reach for that brother or sister next to you, because they will answer the call. I mean, they'll help you.
So I think that's something you get when you serve, because I never did, and you get this brotherhood, brother, sister, because there's women in the obviously service and all that too, but that connection with people that we will never understand, those of us who've not been there.
I mean, I could go with any brother. You got the fire department, you got the police department. I mean, even you go to like your sports teams, you still have that. You've been through something together. Everybody has a small little sphere, and that goes around. And when it comes to the military, we all were embracing the suck together. It all sucked, but we were doing it, and we were doing it with cracking jokes and smiles because we were all there together. And when we come home, we're still dealing with the suck, and we still have to continue on. But we're not all together in the same tent, same bunker, same whatever, same training facility. So it's a little harder to reach out and talk to one another because we've all spread out.
So what do you want to do with your life now that you're how old?
29.
Oh God, you're an old man. Like twice your age.
Lost by 20s. I wish I could get those back.
Yeah, he really did. He lost his 20s. But you know what? I think your 30s are going to be great. And what do you want to do? I mean, if you could dream, what would you choose to do?
Fly helicopters.
Really?
Yeah. And we started to do that until my health started going downhill quick. And I couldn't concentrate. I mean, with malnourishment comes terrible memory.
But that's going to heal up.
Yeah, that's on.
So if there's anybody out there that has helicopter school or something like that, or something we can make this man's dream come true, we could get, give him a little time to get better here, but connect with us and let's find out how we can do that and get you.
Yeah, well, gotta get through the FAA too, another government.
Well, you've kind of managed to get the VA to listen, so maybe we.
The FAA, so you got the VA, and they're slow. Now, imagine the FAA is 10 times slower. Because I've already started the school before, and to get the FAA class, medical class stuff, it's
Hilda says,
slow.
Donovan, there are many people here you can talk to anytime. Some of us are awake at 3 a.m.
Well, thank you.
It's okay. Most people have more sense in their 30s than their 20s. Oh, so the good time's coming.
I don't know about sense. I don't got much in the bank anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple pennies. But.
You really do have to restart. Because you've lived in survival mode for 10 years.
Yeah, honestly, the helicopter is the only thing that comes to mind immediately, because that's what I was doing before I had to stop. But the playing field's open. Who knows? I've got a lot of experience in training, firearms training, military stuff like that, and there could be that field, or it could be a completely different thing. Who knows? Rocket scientist.
You're funny.
Anything's open.
You guys, so thanks, Brendan, for coming in.
Thanks for doing this again. I hope it gives some people a little bit of closure that started this and haven't really been following it and come back here.
And how can people, if they want to talk to you, get in touch with? That's my roof, the raining. It's starting to rain out there. Isn't that loud?
Yeah.
Wait till the train goes by. So how can people connect with you? Is there a way they can? You have a website?
So I have a website, firedandforgotten.com. There's a blog that you can comment on or get emails through. And I'll just update day-to-day stuff. Sometimes I throw in some just off-topic funny stuff or some deeper conversational stuff. But most of it is the recovery and what I've learned through all this just being passed on to everyone. I mean, I've learned a lot of medical stuff that now I don't have no need for, and the medical community can benefit from it, and people that are lost in trying to figure out what condition they're battling. It might be this, it might be something similar to this, but it might get you on the right road. So firedandforgotten.com, and then there's the Facebook, and it's all linked in the Fired and Forgotten. So.
And you guys, we want to again thank Buck's Sanitary Service, Scott Weld and Lisa for sponsoring the Buck Stops here, because this is they'll just let me pick stuff and we put it on here, and I love this story because you did it.
We did it. I mean,
and we started here, and we ended up, and all you guys got involved, and you got mad, and you gave money, but we made the thing happen because you weren't even going to probably get going on doing that until all this started happening, and the media caught on, and then the national media caught on.
It was a Hail Mary. I mean,
it just shows that there's power in people. You know what I mean? And when people get not angry, mad, but angry to do something that you can really change it. So I hope you remember that next time something comes up and you just want to poo-poo it. Get involved because you changed his life.
Yeah, and for the better. You made it for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, okay, so we're going to go take this, share it on your page, because here's the thing. If you guys share this on your page, you never know when a veteran or somebody in a bad place is going to look at this, listen to the interview by accident or hear it, and maybe that makes a difference for them. So, hear how loud that
That
is?
is really loud.
I'm sure you guys are hearing it. Michael Donovan.
Yeah, that's my brother.
That's your brother? Hey, Michael, how are you? Thanks to you both. And again, thanks you guys for doing that. Michael, you have to go back and watch because we're already done.
Yeah, you're always late like always.
You're late to the party, dude. All right, good. All right, so we will talk to you soon. Brandon, keep in touch with me.
Yeah, well, no.
And we'll go on from there. All right, bye, you guys. Thank you again. Thanks, Scott and Lisa.
Yeah, thanks,
Buck
Scott.
Sanitary, appreciate you. I'm gonna shut off the Instagram first in live video, share it over there, and then we shut you guys down.
All right, see ya.
See you guys.